We're here in the UFCW Canada newsroom today with Barb Byers, who is the Executive Vice President of the Canadian Labour Congress. Good day, Sister Byers. How are you?
I'm quite fine, thank you very much.
Sister Byers is also one of our representatives at the United Nations International Labour Organization in Geneva. Barb, what's your role with the ILO?
I'm one of the 14 worker representatives on the governing body of the ILO. The ILO is the only UN body that is made up of not just governments, but also worker members and employer representatives.
So Barb, as you well know, the ILO just ruled that Ontario and Canada are violating human rights for withholding the freedom of association rights of agriculture workers in Ontario. Why don't you just talk about what exactly that decision means for Canada internationally and what it means for workers here at home?
The ILO has a committee called the Committee on Freedom of Association, and it looks at how workers are treated around the world when there's a complaint raised about whether they have the right to freedom of association, which is Convention 87 of the ILO. And what that essentially says, this ruling has said to us this past couple of weeks, is that the complaint that UFCW raised and that was supported by the Congress, the ILO has ruled that it's not enough to say that people have the right to organize into a union. They have to have the rights to be engaged in collective bargaining and actually have the opportunity to succeed at concluding a collective agreement. So I think the Ontario government is trying to say, well, we've given them legislation that gives them a right to associate. And what the ILO has said is, it's not good enough to be able to associate. You have to be able to do something with that association.
You know, around the world, Canada has this reputation for decency and fairness. As a matter of fact, if you're traveling abroad and you have a maple leaf on your backpack, that's historically been a really good thing. Do you think this decision undermines that reputation we have with people around the world?
This decision is part of an accumulation of decisions that affect our reputation. So at the ILO, we've certainly seen decisions that have come out now on agricultural workers, before on healthcare workers in British Columbia, before that, the rights of community college part-time workers to be able to organize. Before that, the rights for people to be able to certify into unions and the promotion of employers that they use to have people decertify. Those things tend to accumulate. And so we have an accumulation of a body of decisions coming out of the ILO that says Canada's not doing very good on the whole question of decent work and treating people decently and giving people rights in the workplace. And that compounds with our reputation in other areas, like on issues around the environment, on human rights, on the rights of the disabled, on rights of Aboriginal people, and so on. I, too, feel that we used to be able to travel with that maple leaf on our backpacks and on our coats very proudly, and I am still a very proud Canadian. But I also know that it's getting harder when people see that maple leaf, they don't look at us the same way. They don't see Canada in the same way. And we have a responsibility to make that change. And that means we need to get governments to change the way they do things.